what I would call the game of the week, AFC East matchup, rematch from a great game earlier this season. Bills at Patriots. Bills 1.5-point favorites on the road despite losing that first matchup. 49.5 points is the over-under for this one.
So I've noticed something with the Bills offense lately. Over the last couple of games, it feels like they've leaned a lot more into their play action, which is what you want to do when they run the ball as effectively
Yeah.
as they do. But instead of like using that play action to attack downfield, which is what a lot of teams do using play action, Josh Allen's air yards per attempt using play action has gone down from 7.8 yards to 4.7. So they're using play action to void areas in the horizontal parts of the field. They're using it to try and get their best players in space. It's to attack with Khalil Shakir. It's to get James Cook open out in the flat. You're getting guys into the flat and short parts of the field where you can use them as winners in that area instead of being explosive down the field, which I thought was a very noticeable change from this offense in the early parts of the season. It felt like they were trying to attack downfield and just nothing was happening. So it feels like this is going to be a very different offense going to New England to face the Patriots. But I also think the Patriots defense is going to be very different because Milton Williams will not be in this game.
That's a very interesting point you make. And one of the, obviously football's a very complicated game. And like every move, there's a counter move and then a counter to that counter and so on and so forth. But with play action and, we've talked about, and everyone knows like play action, what you're trying to attack with that run fakes, you're trying to get the linebackers to come up to get the space behind them. That's your money. That's where you're trying to spread the holes in the zone. But even when a play action fake doesn't necessarily work and they recognize it, what it does do is everyone knows that's where you're trying to attack. And so you get deeper drops from your linebackers. You get deeper drops from those second level defenders than you would otherwise get from a normal drop back pass. And then what's that leave open? That leaves open that underneath. Like that leaves open checkdowns, under shallow crossers, things of that nature that then they have more space to work. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Obviously, the Bills proven that. I'm very interested in this one for a number of reasons, obviously, because of the big playoff implications, number one seed in the AFC, but also just because I think this quarterback matchup is sick. Like the fact that we get this head-to-head matchup now for seemingly the next decade is something that, I mean, we kind of have in the AFC West, but the Chargers really haven't been on sort of, equal footing roster-wise with the Chiefs. We kind of have in the AFC North, but they keep getting hurt with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Now we definitely feels like we have it in the East. That these two teams are equally sort of matched up, equal-ish at the quarterback. Obviously, Drake May statistically better than Josh Allen this year, but Josh Allen has track record. I'm just pumped to the fact that we get this now. We have another head-to-head matchup that we're going to see 2 times between elite quarterbacks for seemingly the rest of these guys' careers.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I feel like this is sort of for Josh Allen and the Bills, it feels sort of like looking into a mirror a little bit.
Yes, right.
Looking at Drake May, it's like, oh, like I remember seeing that guy. You remind me of Josh Allen when he was a little younger. But I do think that this game is going to come down to if the Patriots defense can stop the run as effectively as they did the last time they played. And then if the Bills can tackle, they missed 8 tackles the last time the Patriots played them. Stephon Diggs got loose at any moment. But I think what they've done really well since that game is they've been a little more effective in playing cover 2. They've played a lot more soft zones to try and just get teams to throw the ball quick and rally and tackle. But you got to make the tackle if you're going to rally and tackle. So I'm curious to see if they can get some pass rush, especially Will Campbell out the game. I don't know if Jared Wilson is going to play in this one. So my head is sort of leaning Bills in this one just because of all the important injuries on the Patriots side of the ball. But man, they have to tackle, and you have to tackle effectively in this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to that tackling and who stops the running game better, truthfully. Like who can take that out of the other team, because we talked about how good the Bills are themselves, but their run defense quietly has been the second worst in the NFL this season in terms of BPA per rush. You can run the ball on this Buffalo Bills defense if you really want to. And something the Patriots didn't have the first time around was the big play threat. They didn't. Trayvon Henderson had 6 carries in that first game. He's had double digit in this past 6 games. I'm interested to see if he has a field flipping, game changing sort of play in this one, because I think that's the X factor that wasn't there that can maybe overcome the fact that the left side of your offensive line is a huge issue right now for New England Patriots. But I do think I side with you, and I think the Bills ultimately do win it, because I really don't trust the left side of that Patriots offensive line without Will Campbell, without Jared Wilson.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough if Drake May can overcome not having the left side of his offensive line against the Bills. I'm ready to give him the MVP. Like that. I'm sort of leaning that way anyway. But if they sweep the Bills without their starting left tackle, starting left guard, without a run game that's still been super effective, I think Trayvon Henderson could play a big role in this game as a receiver, especially trying to get guys out in space. But if they're able to win this game, this feels like a potential MVP making performance.
Well, here's the thing. The guy who he's probably going head to head against is facing a very easy matchup in the passing game this week. We'll get to that when we get to Lions at Rams.